Well, good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate seeing everybody jumping on in here for our good afternoon, maybe even morning, depending on the time zone of where you're in, for our exciting webinar this afternoon. Just a couple of housekeeping items that wanted to run through before we get started. Everyone has been muted upon entry. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, please add them to the Q&A section in this Teams webinar. We have some really great individuals overseeing our Q&A section, and they want to answer your questions. So feel free to challenge. At the end of the presentation, we will be addressing any additional questions that come through as well after you see the great content that we have to present today. So in today's agenda, we're going to take a look at Velixo, see some familiar faces on this call. So I know some of you are using Velixo already and maybe want to see some of the new things that are out there. But Velixo is a reporting tool that integrates with Acumatica. So the team at Velixo is going to walk us through some different areas of the system and show us what an exciting tool that is offered and available for the Acumatica client base. So again, welcome and thanks for joining us. I'm Colleen Schills. I am the Director of Customer Success at Crestwood Associates. And joining me today is Alex Bastian from Velixo. And before I turn things over to Alex, I want to share some insight in the value of Velixo. I've been with Crestwood for over 9 years, but I've been working with Acumatica from a product perspective for over close to 14 years now. And I think one of the things that I find the most value for our client base is the Velixo reporting tool. It really provides an extension of the system that clients like to have. Excel's not going anywhere. Excel is in our lives, especially from a financials perspective, with the way the direction of data is going, with AI and Copilot. All the cool things that you can do now with a lot of the tools that Microsoft Copilot offers right inside of Excel, and it takes Velixo to that next level. So, we've had clients that have gone from reporting their financials from a month-end perspective that were spending days and weeks just putting together their financial reports using other financial reporting tools. And implementing Velixo, working with our team, they've taken that down to hours in a day. I mean, really, really able to streamline that process with a lot of the functionality that Velixo offers. We've had other clients who've been able to roll out Velixo to the actual end users, not on the financial side, not on a financial team and an accounting team, but actual just end users, within the organization, whether it's the, chief operations officer or somebody that's on the project side. And they've been able to look at data that they once weren't able to view and drill into before. And it's really providing that next level, giving, individuals more ownership of their data and their responsibilities within the organization. So I think you're hearing what I'm saying, that Velixo is not just a financial reporting tool. It goes above and beyond financial reports. And I think that's really important takeaway for everybody on this call. Now, to provide more insight and to talk about Velixo, I'm going to turn the presentation over now. So Alex, take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm going to turn on my camera. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Pleasure. We want first to thank you for the time. And we'll have some gift for you, but I can already give you one for anyone that attended the presentation and that might be interested. Wait to see what we'll offer first, obviously. We'll offer a discount until the end of the month, 20%. It's just our way to show gratitude. We know that you have busy days and we really appreciate your presence. So Velixo, we are this Excel connector, a little add-in that gives you basically the ability to access your data from your ERP, pull it and push it, so we're bi-directional, And we'll see that in details a bit later. This is a few words about me. I'm director. Oh, my apologies. You can see this director here of professional services, partnerships and alliances. I've been with Velixo for more than 6 months. I've a huge experience in alliances and partnership globally. Now I'm here to really lead the team and help our customer around the world to access their data. Quick story about Velixo. We've been in business for the last 7 years. Our founder, Gabriel Michaud, was actually part of the product development team at Acumatica. And while he was working there, he noticed that the standard reporting at Acumatica was not meeting all of the customer needs. Improvement could be done. And while he noticed that, he just thought, let me get out of the company, create this product, but stay in the ecosystem to offer this value that I found to all of the customers of Acumatica. A few years later, couple of years later, we're the number one ISV in the ecosystem, which means that we have the most shared customers with Acumatica, and year over year, we're one of the most popular solutions. That's what you can see in the rating from both G2 and Acumatica. You can see on the map also, we have customers all over the world, which is why my title is global. And we have also a network of partners also around in different regions in the world and employees in different time zones to make sure that we provide the best services to you. As Colleen mentioned, Excel is not going anywhere. We want to implement the software, the ERP, to streamline our business, but the comfort of Excel is just something that we cannot escape. But while we're using it, doing export to Excel, there are some challenges in what we're really doing. First, when you click export to Excel, what you're really doing is taking a picture at a specific moment of what's happening in part of your business. Why is that problematic? Well, the pace of business now is just relentless, and from one day to another, something can happen that totally change the picture and also can change the orientation of your next decision to remain competitive or simply to make sure that the operation is running smoothly. Second point is that this reformatting is taking a lot of time away, and we all have busy days, tasks that simply add up and pile up. Having a couple of more minutes, hours, depending on the amount of things that you're doing in Excel, could always be beneficial for all of us. Third point is that while we're doing these manipulations, we're all human, we can make mistakes, and depending on who's going to consume this information, well, this can have repercussions. So we want to avoid that. Finally, this is the aspect of what you're doing in Excel right now cannot be pushed back. And what I mean by push back, updated or sent to your ERP, which means, again, more time that you will have to dedicate to manual tasks to update your ERP. And this is the reason why Velixo exists. It is a simple add-in that works in real time. It allows for direct, work in real time. It allows for this direct write back, which is 3 scenarios that you can push back automatically that are import scenario already customized. Also, what's very important is that from the security standpoint, we mirror any sort of permission that you have already set up in Acumatica. And there are a classic example or something that I think is impactful. Let's say you have someone in a company that is just curious to see if his compensation is good. And he wants to use Velixo, for example, to pull payroll data to compare salary with his colleagues. Well, if he doesn't have already access to this information, he will simply not have access to that. They will not be able to pull it into Velixo. So don't worry. What your employee already see in their ERP is what they will be able to pull into Excel. Another important aspect of security is that we use OData. Why do I mention that? The connection that we establish is really just between Excel and your ERP. There's nothing else, no in between. We do not store information. We do not view your information. It's confidential between you and your Excel. Finally, we're fully integrated to Microsoft 365. That has implication, we'll see it later, with our distribution tool. As I mentioned, we're the number one ISV in the Acumatica ecosystem. Very much encourage you to go see our review and their marketplace. I'm obviously working for Velixo. I have tons of good things to say about Velixo, but what's most impactful is what we had as an impact to these customers. So we won the prize last year, working very hard to be back on that stage this year. And finally, before we jump into the hands-on demo, this slide simply is there to illustrate that we had an impact on great variety of industry, so much that we like to call ourselves industry agnostic. If we had an impact on all of these organizations, if you're using Excel, we're very confident we'll be able to have an impact on your business as well. Now, I'll open Excel and we'll start looking at what does using Velixo means in your day-to-day. Just opening a spreadsheet, and in a second, you'll see when you open for the first time Velixo, you do have this little slideshow that shows you basically the different functionality that we have to offer. We'll go into the details of all of that today. So here, entering Excel, you have in the header, you have a new section, Velixo. You have the ability to refresh your data, create your connection, drill down, distribution list, perform write back, and a bit of reformatting options. Finally, support, how to contact it. And we'll go into the details of all of that. My goal today to simply establish foundational knowledge about how Velixo works is to create a quick trial balance on the fly and show you how easy it is to pull information from your ERP and also to update it at the click of one button. But before I do that, obviously, I need to establish my connection. What's important to know here is that you don't have a limitation in terms of how many instances you want to connect to a single spreadsheet. You need to choose a name that is simple, because we use that over and over, and you'll see that throughout this demonstration. Put your URL, tenant, and the credentials. Just like that, I'm establishing the connection. You can see here, green cloud means that I'm now connected. Another important aspect that I did not mention yet, we work both on PC and Mac. There's no problem. You can use whatever system you want. Velixo is available. So now what we'll do, we'll import the account, their names, and their balances. Perfect. Put a bit of space so everyone can see properly. Here, I'm going to insert chart of accounts. You see the name of the connection, which is our connection. And just like that, I've imported the accounts. What you can see here is one of the 70 dynamic functions we've added into Velixo. To make that easier to read, we'll now, and to interpret, go here where you see also there's the function, different Velixo sections. I'll go to general ledger, account name, connection demo, and account A8. Click here at the right bottom, and we now have all of the names. For balance, I'll obviously need a bit more details like the ledger. We'll take actual, sub-account, and finally the financial period. Put November 2020. Going back here to functions, account ending balance. So you can see here the syntax. If you need more information, you're unsure about the function that you're about to use, you can simply click on help on this function, and you'll be automatically redirected to our knowledge base article, fully public. And I'll go back a bit to our knowledge base section, where you have the description of the function you're about to use, the syntax, the parameters, the one that are required and optionals, and finally, a couple of examples. At the end of the day, if you know Excel, you know Velixo. If you need a bit more help or you need to refresh your knowledge, this is what it is for. So that I'm going to put the connection name. You see, this is why you want it to be simple. We use that over and over, so it's important that you don't have to type something very complex. put the account here again, sub-account, and the period. Just like that, click, again, expand by clicking at the bottom. And now we have our trial balance, can start having a bit of fun, copying the column here, creating a variance column, simply doing C minus D. And we can change here the ledger we're pulling it from. Just like that, few minutes, I've created a trial balance. I can start doing any sort of comparison I may like. And I want to underline here how fast the connection and the information is being pulled from Acumatica. I have a little example to show how this applies to in your daily life. We have a customer here in Quebec, where we're located in east of Canada, Montreal. This is a big entertainment company. Actually, they have a resort, and they had to run a report that was created and customized in Acumatica. The only problem is that it was so complex that they had to run it at night because it was pulling so much resources from the ERP, and even cut it into part to then copy and paste it in the morning to avoid the report to timeout. They came to us saying, this is obviously not optimal. We would rather have this information at the click of a button, like we have here. By the way, refresh can smart refresh and full refresh. And we looked at the report, said it's totally feasible. It is complex. You will need a bit of our help, but we can do it. After restructuring and doing this report in Velixo, now all they have to do is click that refresh button because this report is saved, and they see the most updated information in real time. So no more need to schedule that at 2 a.m. when no one is working. It's fully available. The last part I want to show here before we run into our sample financial report is our group accounts, because this can help you in your custom report. We can create ranges like this. I'm going to copy this lane here. Boom. You can also create select specific accounts. And finally, we have also the option of doing wildcards, where in this case, I have one, I'm looking for all accounts starting with 1 with 5 digits. And I could also, if I want, exclude some accounts like 13,000. This first part was really there just to show you how easy it is to create a connection, pull accounts, create a simple report, and how fast it is to connect and to pull information from your instances. In this case, Acumatica instance. Now, I'm gonna switch gear and show you what it means in reports that probably will talk much more to you. We have our sample financial report, where we have a couple of reports that could be further customized, but that will look obviously at some of the numbers that you're looking, if not on a daily basis, certainly on a monthly basis. So what we have in front of us is a profit and loss report. It's part of our financial sample package. I'll show it to you later, fully available for free. If you expand here, you're looking here where we're pulling the information from. You're more than welcome to use that as a foundation for your reporting and further customize it. This is simply an example that I think talked to most of us, but it is open so you can play with it and make it your own. What you see here, we've created branches that could be territories, that could be divisions, that could be regions of the world, whatever you want. Don't stick to the name branches. It's simply a way for us to create subunits, and we can, with this drop-down menu, navigate from one to another and look at the financial results. You could also change the date, same here, the information updates in real time. For the consolidated profit and loss, same logic, by month here. I change to any month I may want, information is pulling in real time. P&L trailing, again, we have 3 drop-down, actually 1 drop-down and 2 other sections that could be changed. You can put any dates, navigate to any sub-business unit or go back to the consolidated. A little bit more of a visual aspect here, you can see. For the next one, way more visual, the gross profit analysis. This time, again, you have the drop-down menu to allow you to navigate from one branch to another and go back to the consolidated. And finally, cash flow statement. Again, this is just an illustration of what you can do with Velixo. By no means this is shows all of the area of functionality we have. That being said, talking about functionality, I'd like to introduce you to our drill down. This is a functionality that allows you to click on any cell here in this report or any of you see the other tab and go back to the source transaction in Acumatica. Very, very useful if you're a manager that needs to approve, for example, some expenses of someone in your team, if someone also in the company is doing an internal audit, or even if you have an external audit and you are looking at the story behind transactions. So now, to illustrate that, we'll use this $200 of travel. We're not sure what's the story behind it. I want to know more. Simply by clicking here, I have now a new tab that open where we have ability to go back to the source cell, which is the tab in the P&L. View the transaction in Acumatica, we'll do in a moment. We also see the connection, the ledger, the account, sub-account name. You see the period also. You see the branch where it's coming from, the description, and finally the balance. I'm going to click here on View Transaction, and I'm redirected into Acumatica. If you are already logged in like I was, you are now on the page of the source transaction. If not, you simply need to put your credentials and you'll be on that page. You have now access to another level of granularity where you have the batch number, transaction date, period ID, the specific debited amount, the description. And if I click on the reference number, I can even go further and visualize, if it's been uploaded, the invoice for that transaction. And that sense, it's now becoming very, very easy to audit any sort of transaction you have. With Velixo, we take you by the end and bring you to the source. So far, and as mentioned, as Connie has mentioned, we have looked at many financial information, but it's very important to understand that Velixo has access to much more and also allows you to unleash much more data that is available in your ERP. For example, you have the general inquiries. You have more than 300 of them. These are just a few examples: bill and adjustment, check and payments, account payable retained. All of these are part of these 300 general inquiries. For this example, I'm going to use the bill and adjustment, and I'll show you how I can, with a few clicks, import it into Excel to then create a custom report that I want. So for that, I'll go back to my original spreadsheet. Here, I'll type simply GI for general inquiry. I do need to put the name of my connection, demo. You see, keep it simple, never escape it, and copy general inquiry. See here, the old data connection is loading, boom, just like that. I've loaded quite a significant number of lines. And now I can have fun, truncated, segmented the way I want. So I have the access to information that I want to see, can save it and then update it next time I'm in Excel. So for this, I'll take vendor, status, and currency, simply to show you how easy it is to truncate. Just like that, I've truncated. It could have been any of the items that were on this line here, And now I can also start to create dynamic filters. If I want to, for example, have as a vendor transit and as a status open, but I have the option of changing that, I can simply create GI filter. Put again the name of my connection. name of the general inquiry, and simple manipulation like that, I have now a dynamic filter that I will add just here. Isn't it beautiful? And it's very important. General inquiries are the key to unleash information that we could classify as more operational. You could have even have unposted transactions. So it just allows your organization to have to extend basically or expand the array of information that you can pull into Velixo. Now we'll go back to the spreadsheet because I want to share this example that is absolutely best use case for Velixo, something that we hope is a game changer for most of our clients and has been for this customer that had basically to copy some entries that were calculated on a monthly basis. It was basically a multiplication of the revenue per division multiplied by the GL rate that we're creating these entries here. Again, manual entries, time consuming, prone to error, all of that we want to avoid. For that reason, they reach out to Velixo that is always open to hear some feedback about what is your experience, but also what could be improved or possible feature development, anything that does not exist in the product, but that should or could improve your experience. This was the case. They asked us, could you do something about that? Is there anything that we could do to automate that so that we don't have to do these manual entries? For this example, I will change the rate to 2.5. You see now the entries have been changed. And now I have the ability, by clicking only this button, to send the information directly into the ERP. Very important. I put automatic release as no, so I will have an extra step to verify the information before the data has been overwritten in the system. Another very important information is that this is available, and this is, again, something that could be performed based on the permission that's been attributed in Acumatica. What I mean by that is that if I don't have access to this information in Acumatica, I will not be able to pull it into my Excel, but also I will not be able to send it back. I do have this permission in my case, so I'll perform the write back, clicking just like that. And you'll see very soon we'll be in Acumatica looking at the information. Feels my Excel has frozen, which is not Velixo related. I'm sorry about that. Let me just reopen it. My apologies for this small inconvenience. That's what happens when you don't restart your computer often enough. While we're waiting for my computer to unfreeze, and my apologies for that, I want also to talk about education. Velixo, as I said, is very simple to learn, as it is really related to your knowledge of Excel, which could be sometimes a little bit scary simply because not everyone has the same knowledge of Excel. I want to tell you first that we have a lot of information that is available in knowledge base. Here, we have tons of information as how to get started, the customization package, function, how-tos, troubleshooting. Also, the template I've used for this demo is fully available here publicly. So you have access to financial demo. This is the one I've used for I've shown. Construction also here. And you have also access to support once you're a customer. Like, so you can submit a ticket to ask question. And finally, we've recently launched our instructor-led classes that are now in the marketplace of Acumatica, where you can see and you can learn more about how to build your function, basically educate yourself on the basics about Velixo, and then gain more autonomy in creating your custom reports, because this is the value that we have. We, by being in Excel, allowed you to simply have this freedom to create your custom report in Excel rather than learning another technical language or working or having a backlog of reports that you will have at some point to finance and perhaps to revisit if you have additional updates or improvement that you want to make. So like that, basically give back this power into your hands. Now I'll go back to my Excel to see if it has accepted to work. Seems that my Excel is a bit slow today. I, again, deeply apologize for that. It's not something that happens ever, so it's a funky timing here. I'll then switch gears simply to show you the distribution tool that we have. So the distribution tool basically allows you to, so here, to disseminate the information once you have the opportunity to do all of the manipulation you wanted with your reporting. So you have the ability to send it via Excel with formula, without formula. So with formula, without formula, what we mean is that first, Velixo is very important to say is one license, unlimited user. So is, by the way, our training. You pay for a yearly subscription. You can use it as many times as you want. And with that, you may want to share the information where people will be able also to pull it via the use of Velixo, or simply share the results, which means that they will see basically the different reports I've shown you, but simply the values and not have the ability to update it. Up to you. Perhaps you have some internal clients or some colleagues that don't need to really update it, or you simply wanted to share it with them for consultation. You have also the ability to share it, send it by PDF. You have you can create here the file name, select the tabs, even have the folder path if you want, and send the information to specific clients that you have, being from the president, CEO to CFO, that don't want to see the same thing. So segment basically what they will see, what makes sense for them to consult, and even go further if you want in the specific tab, share the result for a specific branch, being the consolidated or a specific, as I said, business unit. Once it's done, you simply click here, and all of these emails will be sent directly to your customer from the comfort of Velixo. So don't need to share or to share them like in different emails, like save different files for different people and spend all of this time. Again, you save time doing that. So with that, we can open to questions. And I just want also to review for this right back. We have 3 fully templatized scenarios, which is the journal transaction, budget, and project forecast. Generic write back offers you the ability to create your own scenario, import scenario, for anything else you may want to send into the system. I will now wait and see if there's any questions. I wanted to share also that we offer gift cards for the people that are, for the person or the different attendees that ask best questions. So please feel free. You can unmute yourself or put the question in the Q&A. Look at Q&A. Okay. I see that my colleague Hamza has been extremely fast at answering all of them. If there's more questions, as I said, you can put them in the chat in the Q&A section. Happy to go into more details and explore the different challenges that you can meet with Velixo or that you like to share. Well, if there are no more questions, we'd like again to thank you very much for your time today. And again, reiterate that if you have an interest, if you want to learn more, or just talk about some stuff that are extremely specific to your case, reach out to us. We have this offer until the month is ending in a week. So let's say until end of November, 20% discount on the first year. Happy to have more chat and hear about your feedback. Thank you so much.